that's why he's saying, speak to that mountain. That same mountain is in the book of Revelation. I think it's Revelation 15, which is a burned out mountain like a volcano. So it's a mountain on fire like a volcano. And they cast that burned out mountain into the sea. And then that's actually a template from Jeremiah 51 that God's dealing with Babylon, which was, now Babylon is Jerusalem, because it was the city where the Lord was crucified, according to the book of Revelation. He's dealing with the people who are supposed to be the people of God, have now converted to being Babylonians and idolater worshipers, which is what the Pharisees are. Pharisees don't think they worship idols, but they take God's law and they modify it to fit themselves. And so, they have a false religion. So Jesus is saying, I curse the fig tree. All this is in Hosea 10, by the way, the cleansing of the table or temple, the house of prayer, the cursing of the fig tree, all that Jesus is operating out of from Hosea 10. It's all there. So the fig temple curse, because he said, when I came to your forefathers, I found, and in the early season, I found fruit. But with you, I came to you, and he refers to a fig tree. But when I came to you, there was no fruit there. That's why Jesus cursed the fig tree. He was dealing with backslidden people of God who've turned their back away from the living God to idols. So that was the wounding of their soul. They tried to cover that with the fig leaves, which is also why Jesus cursed the fig tree. He's cursing the covering up of your sin.
Okay. Now, Brother Bruce.
And the soul wound, go ahead.
Brother Bruce, you are a loaded fellow.
I told you I'd go deep.
Right. And hey, we already got the precursor out there. It's going to be rabbit trail. But now I want you to connect back for anybody who listens to this in any time that they may listen to this, about how all the things that you just explained, or the parts of the things that you explained, and how they were working in your life, particularly at that thing, because you began talking about the different wounds that you got.
Yeah.
Then you gave a great wonderful exposition of how this works spiritually, the knowledge and things that you were working in. It became more knowledge later when you can look back and say, oh, that's what God was doing.
Yeah. And that broke down my health, by the way. My health deteriorated.
Right.
That's years later. Right. Now I can't digest food. I had extreme fatigue, manifestation that the doctors couldn't tell me this. I had to figure it out by myself. Epstein-Barr virus was going on. So what happens is the stress affects the mitochondria. What mitochondria is the power plant in your cells, produces
very important. Very important.
Disrupted. Yeah, they break down, which that's the root cause on the physical side that affects digestion. It can affect a lot of things, your brain, your nervous system, your heart, everything. But the gut is the second brain of your body, health experts say. You got more nerve ending. You actually think with your gut. You actually process emotions in your gut.
Right.
And so it's the second brain. There's more nerve endings in the small intestine than there's going down your spine. And so, a response to stress a lot of times is digestive issues. So one morning after a fast, I ate some fruit and I couldn't digest it. So things deteriorated. So I had to find my way out of that. The soul wound was the cause of it, was the point.
Now let me ask you a couple of things about time. First, how much time went by before you begin to have these challenges, at least that they were detectable to you, because they were going on before you knew that they were going on? That's
2 years and 11 months.
About 2 years, 11 months.
So it was almost 3 years.
Around 3 years. Then the time matter of how much time went by before you were getting some kind of actual diagnosis, either by yourself, the Holy Spirit, common sense, or because when you mention the scientific part, it still comes back to what people used to say about your stomach, stress, ulcers, not eating in a certain kind of environments, or if it's, don't sit around eating with people who are mad at you, different things like that. That's old. That's old. People known that for years. Yeah. But you're breaking it down on how it works in the body, but go ahead.
Yeah, Center for Disease Control many years ago said that 85% of all diseases are related to stress. So, so the breakdown on the physical side, which I didn't know back then, starts with the mitochondria. Well, that's disrupted. It's actually the electron transport chain. So electrons, your energy is electric in your body.
Right.
That comes from glucose being converted in this little power plant, the mitochondria, into energy. But there's an exchange in the glucose and create what's called ATP. That's the energy your body uses that goes to the cell or in the cells. And so that those electrons are disrupted. You have and you think about, I mean, your nervous system is electric, and stress affects the nervous system. So it's affecting these electrons, essentially, in the mitochondria of the cell. And that doesn't produce enough energy for the cell. The energy, if there's not enough energy for a cell, you have cellular degeneration, which is everything. I mean, what part of your body's not made up of cells? You know, it all is. And
a lot of cells. Trillions.
So now that can begin to wear on, say, the intestinal wall, which is only one cell thick. And so the cell wall, or the small intestine wall, has junctures. The cells have junctures in between. Well, those space out. They get too far apart during this time of stress. Now it allows undigested food to go into your bloodstream and toxins, because the inside of what goes into your mouth, you basically have a tube going from your mouth until the exit, right? So the entrance of the outside world, like food and water and so on, go into the mouth, supposed to go through a bath of acid in your stomach that kills microbes and so on. But under stress, and as you age, the stomach acid begins to dry up. It's not as much. So now the microbes are getting through. You got a leaky gut. It's also called intestinal permeability. So these toxins, mycotoxins, mold, undigested food are leaking. They're not getting digested. They're not getting killed in the stomach acid, which is deficient. So it's leaking into the blood. And that makes your immune system go wild, because that's foreign invaders. So your immune system is attacked. That creates allergies, autoimmune diseases, psoriasis, etc. are coming out of this attack.
Short rabbit hole. When we mention that, because we can get back to this one real quick.
We can always.
When you mentioned the thing about the immune system being overworked because it's attacking all of this extra stuff, of course, that means that there's more inflammation.
Right, chronic inflammation.
And so a lot of times, possibly, some of the listeners will hear that part, the inflammation part. Yeah. So it's a great explanation where a great deal of it, where it comes from. It's your systems of your body. The inflammation is good for the right stuff in the right amount at the right time.
Short term healing of a wound, etc. But yeah, chronic inflammation all day long, every day. Your gut can be on fire. Your brain can be on fire. It's called Alzheimer's. That inflammation gets in your arteries. It can create heart attack. I think, I mean, a lot of diseases related to inflammation. I think diabetes is also inflammatory. So yeah, and that inflammation that keeps that immune system chronically overactive, but that's wearing down. It's like using muscle over and over again without rest. It's also wearing the immune system down at the same time. So, you know, things get out of whack, and without an immune system, fortunately for me, because I had my faith, I got really exposed to COVID. I was in business meeting in